The federal government will extend visas for Afghan nationals who supported Australia's mission in Afghanistan. More than 5,600 temporary humanitarian visas were issued during the Afghanistan crisis in August, but no permanent refugee resettlement spots have been offered so far. For more on this, we're joined by Khalid Amiri, who fled Afghanistan in September, and he joins us now from his new home in Melbourne. Khalid Amiri, good to talk to you again. The last time we spoke, you and your family were in quarantine in Darwin, having got out of Kabul in September. How's life in Melbourne?
Thank you for having me again, Karina. It's a pleasure to be on on the news bulletin with you. Well, life is absolutely good so far. Having a sense of more safety, a more peaceful and comfortable life here. So we have settled in Melbourne, which is a good sign for me and my family.
What visa are you on and how long is it valid for? I understand it was recently renewed for 1 year.
Yeah, initially when Kabul collapsed and the Taliban took control of entire Afghanistan, well, luckily we were granted the Australian humanitarian visa by the Australian government, which were for 3 months. So in August, they were granted and they were about to expire on 22 of November 2021, which is almost like 3-4 days left for its expiry. And now the government has made an announcement to extend these visas for another 1 year.
So is the government, in your view, working fast enough? It's rejected suggestions it's taking too long to process humanitarian visas.
Well, are you talking about the ones that were granted to us or the new ones that are going to be issued?
Yeah, the ones that you're currently on, because you're in Australia, and so the people who've come to Australia will have their visas renewed on a one-yearly basis. But for others who might be overseas, it's every 3 months.
Many people who have fled Afghanistan, particularly refugees who came from Afghanistan right now, they were expecting that these visas would be automatically changed to PR status, which they would love to have and enjoy a normal life in Australia. They were expecting that these humanitarian visas and the status would be changed to PR automatically, or the government would grant them permanent residence visas, which didn't happen, and they were granted, or these visas were extended to humanitarian visa for another year. So refugees were expecting that they would get a permanent residence, with that they would get proper work permits, they can work easily here, they will have a normal life here. What refugees currently are expecting, including me, is that we would love to be integrated into the society the soonest. We would love to have equal job opportunities. We would love to play our role as peaceful citizens of this country, and we would love to be an integrated part of this society.
And is that not possible under the current visa that you're on?
Well, for now, around 300 to 400 Afghan refugees are still at temporary residence. Their paperwork and their filing and everything is being processed, which is a bit of time consuming. So till now, the way we were thinking that refugees would be at their homes and by now they would be provided with visas and everything. That's not happening, which I don't blame the authorities or the government for, because for sure there were COVID restrictions, people were working from home, so the office work was going very slow. So for now, that's the update.
Yeah, where are your attempts to get your remaining family members into Australia?
Well, I'm very hopeful. I'm praying and I'm expecting the Morrison government to please increase the grant of the next humanitarian visas for Afghans, because there's a big number of Afghans waiting back home. They are having a life full of danger. So I'm expecting that my family, including my elder brother and sister, will be evacuated soon, and they will be granted humanitarian visas by the government.
Yeah, and how would they get here? What's that actual process like?
Well, they have to apply for the Australian humanitarian visa, and then I think the international coalition forces, including the United States of America, are trying to reach an agreement with the Taliban currently, which will allow the Taliban to leave those families who have been granted visas by the international community to leave Kabul easily, and they won't bother to punish them or question them, those who are holding valid visas. So for now, I humbly request the government, the Australian government, to please increase the number of humanitarian visas for Afghanistan, for the people of Afghanistan. Despite any ethnicity, it should be for Afghans in Afghanistan. Every Afghan is in danger, including former government officials, people who served in the army, people from the television fraternity, from the medical field, from sports, doctors, engineers, artists, singers. Everybody is in hidings right now. I'm on daily basis, I'm getting messages and calls from friends back at home who served in the army, friends who were in television. They are in hidings, and Taliban are looking for them in houses. The Taliban initially said they won't go for reprisals, but now we are getting reports of homes being searched, people being detained, and even executed. On the ground, the journalists and reporters are not allowed to report the events the way they should, because of fear. So the only option they have got and they left is WhatsApp or either the online conversation, which they do. And I promise them that we won't leak their name, but we are using Twitter, media outlets like yours to raise their voice and raise their concerns and let the international community know that things back home, things back in Afghanistan are not good. And there's a dark picture for Afghans.
Okay, Khalid Amiri, really good to talk to you again. And we hope that you're settling into Melbourne really well.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Time for a check of the weather now. Here's Graham Creed.
The trough is bringing